welcome once again to yet another interesting episode of Achievers World, where, as usual, we lecture our students on becoming successful in their driving theory exams. And I am your host on this segment of the video. I'm your host this evening rather. I want to welcome you especially. If you're joining us for the first time, thank you for coming in. And then please subscribe to this channel and then click the notification bell so that whenever we post videos like this, you'll be one of the first to be notified. All right, thank you so much. To those of you that are my oldies on this channel, I want to appreciate you immensely for joining us over and over again. You are actually the reason why we keep doing what we do, because your support is the driving force that I need to continue with what I am doing. Your support gives me the drive, that enthusiasm to continue with what I do, and I really appreciate you for that. So I'd like you to do me a favor by sharing this video to your social media communities, even our subsequent video, our previous videos we've had in the past. You can share them. Feel free to share them on your social media community so that those people that may have need for them you know, will be happy and then get what you are benefiting from. All right. Before we go into that, let me quickly use the opportunity to, thank my special, those that support me in, private, those that support me one way or the other privately, because there are several people that support this channel privately. So I want to use this opportunity to thank you for your support. You told me not to make it public, not to make it, not to not to bring you people out, not to call your names online like this. And I want to respect your decision. But then I must say thank you so much for your support so far. Thank you, and God continue to bless you. Right now, I want to quickly go live in fact, I'm live already, but I want to get in touch with my students all over the world. I want to invite them so that they can join this session. So if you are here and you have a question that pertains to driving theory, feel free to share your questions. Let me see your questions in the comment section, and as usual, I'll be available to give you the right answer to any questions that you send that has to do with driving theory. Okay. Thank you so much as I await my students that will be joining me very, very soon. Okay, so you that is viewing me at this point, please, if you have any question that has to do with driving theory, please feel free to, ask those questions at all that has to do with driving theory. Feel free to ask those questions, and as usual, I'll be available to answer your questions as quickly as possible. All right. Now, if you've not, found us on Facebook, please go to Facebook at facebook.com/achieversworld, and you see us there. You see some of our videos and some of those things that we do. We also have our book where we sell our book. We sell online or on, directly from us. You can purchase directly from us the books that talks about those difficult terminologies and their English meaning. Those difficult Italian terminologies and their English meaning. We have those books for you. You can buy one and then get one for your friend, and it will help you a whole lot to be conversant with those Italian driving theory terminologies, and also have their meanings from A to Z. It was compiled in an alphabetical order, so that when you open whatever word that is difficult for you, you find them in that book, and you find their corresponding English meaning as well. All right, the book is called Italian Patente Made Easy. That's the title of the book. So feel free, get a copy. I'll be sharing the link, where you can download it from Amazon. I'll be sharing the link on this channel, and you can download it from Amazon. You can place an order directly from me, and you will get it to your doorstep as quickly as possible. Okay, today we have a very sensitive topic that has to do with insurance policy. That is what we'll be discussing today, insurance policy. But before I dive into that, I want to quickly wait for, let me use 3 minutes to wait for my distinguished students so that they can join us. I believe they are, some of them may not be available as a result of work. Some of my students, they work on Saturdays as well. Most of them work on Saturdays, some of them work between Mondays to Friday, but some go ahead to work on Saturday. So some might not be joining, but the ones that are available will be joining us here, right here on this channel. So feel free to, drop your questions in the comment section so that I will, give you the answers you so desire. Questions that has to do with driving theory, particularly any question that has to do with driving theory or driving theory signals, because there are some driving theory signals that are kind of confusing to students. There are some driving theory signals that are very, very confusing. When people come across those signals, they don't seem to understand what those signals are talking about. They don't seem to understand what those signals are talking about. So this is your opportunity to, this is opportunity to drop those questions in the comment section so that we can get ahead, can go ahead with those questions and then get the answers as fast as possible. As fast as possible. All right. So I wait your questions. I wait your questions. Yeah, I want to welcome those of us that have joined me online. Thank you so much, Henry Collins. And thank you so much, Sinawebe. Thanks for the thumbs up. Thank you for the hello. Thank you so much, Sinawebe. Thank you, Henry Collins, for the thumbs up down. Thank you, Gigitoria, and the rest of you that have joined us online. I want to say thank you so much. Okay, so please send in your questions. Send in your questions from all over the place. Send in your questions so that I can tackle them as I await my distinguished students from all over the world to join us here on the show. Okay, while we await our, you know, our students, let's quickly deal on a few things. While we await our students, let's quickly deal on a few things. Um, okay. Okay, let's talk about while we are with our, you know, our students. Let's talk about a particular sign. Yeah, let's talk about a particular sign. And this sign is called segnali di obbligo. Segnali di obbligo. This is what it looks like. Blue signals, any blue signal that has a blue background, a signal that has this blue background, and a signal that has blue background and white arrow pointing either rightward, leftward, or upward. All right, these are called segnali di obbligo. Segnali di obbligo is any sign, any oval sign, or any oval signal that has blue background, any oval signal with a blue background that has a white arrow in it, and this white arrow is either pointing upward, pointing leftward, or pointing rightward. Okay, so that is a perfect example of segnale di obbligo, which is obligatory signs. And what does that mean? Obligatory signs are signals, or obligatory signals are signals that are obligatory. That's what it is. Simply put, they are signals that are obligatory. Obligatory in the sense that whether you like it or not, you must follow the direction in which it is pointed. For instance, you're driving along the road and you see an obligatory sign pointing rightward. So even if you intend to go straight or leftward, as long as the obligatory sign is telling you to take right, you are not to do, otherwise. You are not to do otherwise. You must go in that direction. So it does not matter where you intend to go. If you are going left and the signal is pointing to you, if you intend to go left and the obligatory signal is pointing to you towards the right, is pointing towards the right to you, you have no other option than to follow what the obligatory signal is talking about. If it's pointing towards the left and you intend to go straight or you intend to go right, you have no other option than to follow the instruction given to you by the obligatory sign. You understand? So that is just what that sign is talking about. Now, it has the one that is pointing up. So the arrow that is pointing up, I think some of my students are already here. Okay. Let's admit them.
Hello, class. Good evening.
Good evening, madam. How are you doing?
Fine. You?
I'm doing well. You are late.
I'm not. It's not easy. I'm giving my children food, but I'm still not done yet. I just want to participate first.
Okay, I understand. I understand. All right, let's quickly go to what we have for today, where we stopped in last lecture. Where did we stop?
274.
Okay.
274. Contractor aspirativo policia.
Okay.
The bonus malus. The bonus
actually stopped. That's where we actually stopped. So far from what we studied the last lecture, and from what we studied in the last lecture, what have been the difficulties you have been encountering? Have you been seeing questions that are related to that last lecture?
No, not yet.
Okay, you've not been seeing lectures that are related to that last lecture. There's questions that are related to it.
No.
Okay, now let's start with this one. Now, contratto assicurativo, polizza tipo, that is a contratto assicurativo is what they call polizza. So another word for polizza is contratto assicurativo, that's insurance contract. It's called polizza, but there's a type called tipo bonus malus. Tipo bonus malus. So let us find out what they mean by this tipo bonus malus. La polizza di assicurazione RCA è il contratto con cui la società assicurativa si impegna a corrispondere nei limiti dei massimali una somma di denaro necessaria per risarcire eventuali danni dovuti a un sinistro stradale a fronte del pagamento di una somma di denaro premio da parte dall'assicurativo. Ha in genere durata annuale e va rinnovato alla sua scadenza. Alla scadenza del contratto di assicurazione, la copertura del rischio ha validità fino alle ore 24 del 15° giorno successivo alla data di scadenza. All right, let me explain to this level. It says that this contratto policy is the kind of contract that you would get from an insurance company. Okay, you get from an insurance company that covers you, but it has a limit. It has a maximum limit they can cover. Like last lecture, we discussed about this limit. So it has a maximum limit they can cover. Una somma di denaro necessaria per risarcire eventuali danni dovuti ad un sinistro stradale a fronte del pagamento di una somma di denaro da parte dell'assicurativo. Now, there's every insurance, like what you have explained here so far, is that every insurance cover has a maximum limit they can cover. So when there's an accident as a result of carelessness or anything, the insurance cover has what to do, have responsibility. If the driver that is under the insurance cover is the cause of the accident, the driver will have to pay for the accident, you understand? For instance, if two people are driving on the road and one person hit the other, the one that hit the other, the one that is at fault, we have to pay the one that is not at fault, So how does that happen? By declaring this accident to the insurance company. The insurance company will now cover, the loss, cover the amount of the loss. After covering the amount of the loss, by the following year, when this person that was the cause of the accident comes back to insure, the insurance policy will now add the money they used to cover that accident victim, the loss of that accident victim. They will now add it to this new insurance company, so to this person's new insurance policy. You understand? For instance, the person is paying 500 per year, and in the long run, within that year, there's an accident. So with this accident, when this accident occurs, the insurance company will take care of the loss of the accident. Then when this person that is covered by the insurance company comes back the following year to do another, to request for another insurance cover, they will now add the sum to that person. For instance, 500, the insurance cover was 500. I mean, the cover they made for that incident was 500 euro, for instance. Then they will now divide this 500 euro into, 12, and then add it, to this person that came to renew his insurance. Then the person will now be discovered. The person will now, instead of paying 500 for the year, the person will now be paying 5 something or even 600. Why? Because the person is now paying for the damage that was caused. So this is how insurance company works. You understand? If there's any question, you can ask me. Let me re-explain. Alla scadenza del contratto di assicurazione, la copertura del rischio ha validità fino alle ore 24 del 15° giorno successiva alla data di scadenza. Now, every insurance cover or every insurance policy, which is called polizza, every insurance policy have a duration of 1 year. For instance, you go to insurance company, they cover your vehicle for 1 year. So once that time, the expiry date gets to, is when the insurance is expired, there is another 15 days, grace that is added to that date. For instance, if the insurance cover of a person is expired today is the 9th of April. Now there's another additional 15 days to it, which the vehicle can be covered. Then after that 15 days, if the person does not want to renew again, that means the person's vehicle is no longer under insurance cover, which is very dangerous. I told you in our last lecture that nobody can drive a vehicle on the road. If you not just drive, you can't park a vehicle on government road without having an insurance cover for that vehicle. You understand? Any vehicle that does not have insurance cover must not be seen outside. Even if the packager is your own, you paid for that packager. Once there's no insurance cover on the vehicle that is parked on that package or on that park space, that vehicle is not supposed to be there. It's against the law. When the police come and they control that vehicle and they discover that vehicle is not under any insurance cover, what they do is they will tow the vehicle. You understand? So since after 15 days, anybody that is under insurance cover that is expired must go and renew. You understand? Because after that 15 days, such a vehicle is no longer under any cover. And when the vehicle is no longer any cover, it's very, very dangerous. Why? Because when there's an accident, who is going to cover? Insurance company is there to cover for losses, conveniently, because a lot of people cannot really cover for losses inconveniently, immediately. You understand? For instance, there's an accident and there's a fatal one, and those that are involved, there are damages, serious damages. It is the insurance company that can do it immediately. You understand? And then when they have covered it, they will now, by the next insurance cover, they will now divide the loss or the amount they use in covering that damage as at that point in time, add it to the next insurance cover, and the one that was involved or that was the cause of the incident is asked to pay. So insurance company, they are not at any loss. It is the person that is involved in that, actually the cause of that accident, that pays for the losses, but it does not pay for those losses immediately. You understand? The insurance company only comes in at that point in time to help the situation, after which they will accrue the increment of those damages on the one that is at fault in the event of the accident. You understand? So that is how it works. Salvo che l'assicurativo o l'assicurato non abbia notificato la disdetta del contratto. Decorso questo periodo, l'assicurazione viene sospesa fino al suo successivo rinnovo. Like I said, after these 15 days and there is no renewal as a result of the expired insurance, it will be suspended. That vehicle will no longer have any insurance cover, and as a result, if there's an incident, there's no insurance company that will come and then bear the losses immediately. You understand? Because there are some accidents that once they happen, they can be, they can incur a lot of damages, and there are so many people. A lot of people that drive cannot really incur immediately for such expenses, for such issues, because it's not planned. Nobody plans to have accident. You understand? But as a result of one person's mistake or the other, it can occur. So because it is not pre-planned, this is where the insurance company comes in. You understand? here, what we do here is to, plan. But things that we do not plan for can occur. So when they occur, it is now the duty of the insurance company to come into the scene and then sort out the bills for those damages, and then later on, maybe in the next insurance cover, they accrue those bills to the one who is at fault in that accident. You understand? Il premio è pagato un'unica soluzione o frazionato. Now, one thing you have to understand again is this. When there's an incident or when there's an accident, and there's in an accident, there's always who is at fault and who is not at fault. You understand? So who is at fault? I've just explained what happens with who is at fault. Then who is not at fault? The person that's not at fault, but his property, his vehicle was damaged, and maybe there are other properties that were damaged. This insurance company of the person that is at fault will now have to pay some amount of money to incur, that amount of money that they give to anybody that is, that his property was damaged as a result of an accident and he is not the one at fault. There's an amount of money that they will give onto that, they will give to that person. So when they give that person, and then maybe not necessarily give the person, but in if there are, replace those damaged properties, replace those damaged vehicles. You understand? Then if there's any need that some amount of money, maybe there's the accident as a result of one thing or the other, made the person to be hospitalized. Maybe the person was hospitalized as a result of the accident. There's an amount of money, according to the maximally that they told us about in our previous lecture. According to the maximum amount that will be given to this person that was hospitalized as a result of the incident. Yes. So sometimes what happens is that they either give it, at once. Maybe you just pay it to the person's bank account once, or they will, break it down. If it is too much, they can decide to break it down. You understand? They can decide to break it down. Maybe they can decide to, okay, we are going to pay this amount of money. We're going to break it down into 10 bits and be paying it every month for 10 months until we are able to sort out all the monies that they are supposed to give that person. Or they can decide to say, okay, we are going to divide it into 5 times so that they can be paying it for the next 5 months in order to sort out the person that was hospitalized as a result of the accident. So these are the things. So just like there's a person that is at fault and there's a responsibility for that person that is at fault, there is also, something that has to be done for the person that is the victim of the accident as a result, of what is involved in the damage. When there is a damage, when the damage is excess, and maybe as a result of that, the affected person is hospitalized, then the insurance comes in and then sort out all these things, pay whoever they want to pay, and then accrue it to the one that is insured. Sorry, the ones that is at fault. So that when next this one that is at fault comes to renew their insurance cover, it will be added to the insurance cover. Then, for instance, if the insurance cover is like 500, as a result of these expenses that were incurred as a result of that accident by the insurance company on behalf of the one that is at fault, they will now, add it on the insurance policy so that this person will now pay it. And some insurance policy, depending on the country, some are being paid monthly and some are being paid, yearly, depending. Some are paid quarterly, some are paid, every 6 months. Some are paid 1 year. Like the insurance I do every year in my car is 1 year insurance. I don't pay. I pay everything once. So they give me that from so time to so within the period of 1 year, the insurance policy is covered. There are people that pay for 6 months, depending on how high the insurance policy is. Some people pay for 6 months, some pay for 1 year. You understand? So this is how insurance policies work. Now it says il premio è pagato in unica soluzione, like I explained before. Unica soluzione, they pay it once, or frazionato, they divide it into rata. You understand what I mean? They fraction, they divide it into fractions, and they be paying it maybe space of 6 months, space of 1 year, and all that. Secondo gli accordi intervenuti tra assicurato e compagnia, e la compagnia stessa ne rilascia l'apposita quietenza. Quietenza is this figure here. Now, this is compagnia assicuratrice. This is the what is known by quietenza. Let's know what it is. This has quietenza di premio. This is what happens when there's an issue and how much they are going to give. Now, let's look at it one after the other. Contraente. SB Italia SR, that is the name of the insurance company. Via what Giacomo 37 Cap 2143 Città Milano with their codice fiscale or their partita IVA. Now, periodo di copertura or copertura, periodo di 13th of December 2008 to 13th of December 2008. You see that it is 1 year annual. Scadenza contratto 13th of December 2009. Now, that vehicle, they'll give you, your vehicle has information. You understand? Every vehicle, like I told you some time ago in our previous lecture, that every vehicle has what they call libretto. And that libretto has an information that has to do with all the information that has to do with the vehicle, the type of vehicle, the name of the vehicle, the kind of engine capacity of the vehicle, and all that. How many doors the vehicle has, the properties or everything that has to do with the vehicle. They are all in that libretto. So that is where the insurance company will now take the information of the vehicle that they need in this case. Now, the information of the vehicle that they need in this case is the number, the plate number, the kind of vehicle, if it is autocar, like in this case it's autocar. Then massimali, the massimali here is 1,050,000 euro. This is that's the maximum amount they can pay. The maximum amount they can pay. That's the maximum amount they can pay. All right, now premi is 822. Yeah, Raphael, how are you doing? Good, you're welcome. You are in page 274. Page 274. Okay, let's continue. So this is the premium. I wish I had a proper, because most of these things that they wrote here is very small. I can't really see it very well. I wish I had my own, quietenza. I wish I had my own quietenza here to show. I wish I had my own quietenza here to show, so that it will be clear. But then, let's say before the lecture runs out, I might have the opportunity to go and get my own. The one I did previously, my previous, it should be my previous insurance company. Because most times I change insurance company if I discover that this one is cheaper, because I've been driving for quite a while, since 2016. So the more I drive and there is no issue, there has been no issue, the more I drive, the more, my insurance policy is supposed to come down. I think that's what Bolus Malus is talking about. The more you drive without having any issue, the insurance policy is supposed to be reducing. For instance, if you are paying 500, you've driven for a period of 5 years, no issue, then your insurance company is supposed to reduce. So if the insurance company that you are following don't want to reduce it, once you change, they will reduce it. Why? Because once you change, the new insurance company will definitely reduce, because they have seen your history. You understand? Because before you change, they will ask you a lot of questions. Have you had an accident within the last 5 years? Have you been involved in an accident within the last 3 years, and all those things? These things help. So when you tell them, they know that they will begin to give you the kind of level that you have told them, if you tell them that if not had, that means they'll take you that this one is very good, it does not have issues. So his insurance, policy has to be low, because for the last 5 years he has not had any issue. That means he's very careful. But when they ask you all this, I say, there was an incident sometime, this one that has incident, what is the cause? They'll ask you the cause and all those things. So the things that you tell them will help them to know how much they are going to, ask you to pay. You understand? It help you to know how much they are going to ask you to pay as an insurance company, because they'll know that this person is either careless or is careful. You understand? When you tell them that you've not had insurance, you've not had an accident in the whole like 5 years, they will say, this person is being careful, he's being very careful. Okay, in that case, let his insurance be low. Why? Because he's being careful. When you tell them in the last 5 years you had like one or two, they will begin to say, okay, this person is like is careless, then let us increase insurance. This is how they calculate these things. They calculate your insurance policy by the number of information you give them, by the kind of information you give them. You understand? And sometimes they go behind and then check your previous insurance covers to see if there have been any kind of report so far. They'll check you, because they will know there's a history. Every vehicle has a history. When they click your number, they will go to their system, they see the history of that vehicle that you want to insure, and they know that this vehicle that has history like this, at this time so thing happened, at this time so thing happened. For the last 5 years, nothing has even happened at all. So they use those things as yardstick to know how much you understand, to know how much you are going to be paying as your insurance yearly cover. Now, il contratto con formula bonus-malus comporta una variazione annuale del premio di assicurazione in base al numero di incidenti causati. Se durante l'anno non se ne provocano, si ha un vantaggio economico. Like I've said, this thing I've been explaining since is what I understand to be this bonus-malus. They check within the year how, if you have this formula bonus-malus in your insurance cover, what they check is, according to in the year, how many accidents have occurred or you have had. They check it. When they see that there's no accident, they reduce the premium. That's what they say, reduction vantaggio economico. When there's no issue, they reduce it for you. For instance, was it not 3 years ago, my insurance policy was 500. Let me give you an example of my own self. But just yearly, I'm talking about yearly, 500 per year. But just recently, was it not last year, when I discovered that this my insurance, I was with that insurance company for 2 years, and my insurance was 500 continuously for those 2 years. So I said no. In those 2 years there have been no issue. So because there's no issue, my insurance policy has to reduce, at least drastically. So I left them. I went to another company and I requested. And when I requested for insurance cover, they said, they asked me those questions I just mentioned. Have you had any accident in the last 5 years and all those things? They checked on all those things. I answered them in the affirmative I answered them that there has never been, in the last 5 years, there's never been any issue whatsoever. So by the time they did their calculations and everything, the insurance cover reduced from 500 to 280. You understand? So this is how it is. That's a perfect example of this bonus-malus we are talking about. A very perfect example of bonus-malus we are talking about. Everything reduced to the barest minimum, from 500 to 280. You see that the reduction is very, very significant. So that is how it is. When there are no issues within the last 5 years, depending on how your insurance cover is, when there are no issues, why not? So for those 2 years I was paying 500, those people, because this insurance company, you need to be also careful with them. Sometimes they are, but then, as someone that has been in the system for some time, there are things you must find out yourself. Even if you're not told, you just have to do some research. You understand? So that's how I live my own life. I do research. Anything I want to do, I do research. Anything that has to cost money, because I'm very, very cost conservative. When it's time to, do some things that involve, money, what I do is I'm very, very I do a background check on a whole lot of things. I do a background check on a whole lot of things before I invest my fund into it, before I go into it, before I pay for it. I do a whole lot of background checks. I do a lot of background checks. So when I discovered these things, I began, when I saw that 2 years, no issue, and the insurance cover is still the same. I had to go into research. I had to see, let me try other people. I'm not under obligation that I must be in this insurance company. So as a result, I tried other people, other insurance companies, and lo and behold, some gave me, something much higher. But until I got one that said, when they finished asking me several questions, when they came to that amount, I was surprised. Okay, let me rest with these people. I'm going to be with them for a while, and after like 1 year, and there's no deduction again. By God's grace, nothing is going to happen, because God protects us all. You understand? As God is protecting us, we too, we are being very careful with the way we drive, because it's not everybody that drives well, but you have yourself, you have to be drive. If you must drive, or if you must go to another, if you must go somewhere, you must try your best. You must try your best. If instead of over speeding, leave the house on time. If you have an appointment, instead of, because you don't know the condition of the road, you don't know if the road is going to be blocked. If you are going to walk and maybe your walk is a bit far, leave the house on time. It will help you not to overspeed. Most causes of accidents is overspeeding. Most causes of accidents are overspeeding. You overspeed and you are not able to control that speed, and the vehicle that is in front of you is very close. Before you know it, you have collided with such a vehicle. So in a case whereby I want to leave the house, it will help you to avoid all these unnecessary incidents and accidents. When you want to leave the house, you have a job, you are going to work, and you want to drive to work, leave the house on time. If your job takes you 30 minutes to get to your place of work, leave the house before about 40 minutes earlier. You understand? Leave the house 40 minutes earlier. Number one, to reduce stress. You will drive with all calmness. You will not be in a haste. You will not be agitated towards the driver that is in front of you that does not want to move fast. You understand? Because people have different character. People that if they are not in a haste, they drive calmly and they're not overspeeding. But someone that is in a haste, you see that the person will be overtaken unnecessarily, doing some kind of things that are not, friendly on the road. But when you leave your house on time for any appointment or for work, you discover that you are calm while driving, and it will even help you a whole lot. Save you throughout the year. You discover that as you are doing your insurance, there is no incidents. Then when you discover that within the year, and once your insurance cover is expired and there's no reduction, you can then migrate to another one that may even, reduce, the amount you pay for your insurance. This is just, my personal experience I'm trying to share, so that you can understand that when it's time for you to do yours, you will borrow, my experience and then follow suit. Now, mentre in caso di sinistro con responsabilità sono previsti aumenti del premio nell'anno successivo. Prevede quindi delle classi di assegnazione che possono variare di anno in anno. Just like they have reduction in price, they can also have increment in price or increase in price, increase in insurance cover, increase in the amount you pay for your insurance cover. Why? Because there was an accident or there was an issue in the previous insurance or during the previous insurance cover. You understand? When there's an issue during the previous insurance cover, discover that the next insurance cover will be high. But when there's no issue during the previous insurance cover, it is expected that the next insurance cover be reduced. La formula bonus malus garantisce comunque la copertura di sinistro nei limiti dei massimali fissati. Yes. Non prevede un annullamento automatico del contratto se sono provocati più di 2 incidenti. Now, we have to understand that this formula bonus malus guarantees the cover of accidents within the limit, the maximum limit, even though this is what happens. Reduction when there's an issue, and increase when there's reduction when there's no issue, and increase when there's an accident. It also means again that the number, that is the maximum number, the maximum amount that can be paid is also put into consideration. You understand? For instance, they say that the maximum they can pay for is 5K, but there's an issue that is more than that. What they will pay is that 5. Then the driver, whoever is involved in that, will go there, will go and then look for how to cover the remaining. You understand? And they do this in relation to the type of insurance cover you are doing. For instance, if your insurance cover is higher, the maximum limits that they can cover will also be higher. If insurance cover is low, the maximum limit that can be insured is also low. Okay, so that is it. Is there any question so far?
No, bros.
Okay. Raphael, you just came in, but then did you understand what we've been explaining since?
I'm trying to understand it.
Yeah, it's not. You were not in lecture in last. You were not in lecture in last. In our last lecture. So, for you to really understand this one, it means you need to go back to our lecture in page 272, because that was where we watered the ground very, very well. That's where we watered the ground very, very well. So you need to go to that our. If I have the time, maybe some other time. If I have the time again, we will we'll go into it. If I have the time, we'll go into it, but not today. But then what I will advise is that you follow what we are doing at this point. Try and understand. If you try and understand, I'll try my best to break it down to your understanding. We're only talking about insurance cover. Telling you that there's another type of insurance cover that has bonus malus as their formula, which makes it easy for the one that is involved in any insurance cover to either increase the insurance cover by reason of an accident in the previous insurance policy, or reduce the insurance cover, the amount they pay for the insurance cover, as a result of no issue or no history of accident within the previous insurance policy. That's just what bonus malus is talking about. But then maybe if we have time within the week, if you have time and I have time within the week, we can then revisit page 272 and then explain more on that. But try as much as you can to follow what we are doing right now, so that by the time we have chance for page 272, it will make a whole lot of sense to you. Okay. All right, let's continue. Risarcimento del danno, risarcimento indennizio. The same thing is risarcimento is the same as indennizio. Risarcimento diretto. È obbligatorio informare per iscritto la propria compagnia assicuratrice in caso di incidente stradale, sia che lo si abbia subito, sia che lo si abbia provocato, anche nel caso non si ritenga di avere la responsabilità e non si siano constatati danni apparenti. Let me explain. È obbligatorio informare per iscritto la propria compagnia assicuratrice in caso di incidente stradale. Now it is an obligation. It is an obligation for whoever is involved in an accident to inform the insurance company about the accident. It is an obligation. It's not, it's not something you can try to cover. It's an obligation. Why? So that they will know. You understand? It's an obligation to inform them that there's an incident. Whether you are, that's what they mean by sia che lo si abbia subito, if it's something that happened immediately, sia che lo sia abbia provocato, even if it was something that was provoked, something that happened as a result of one thing or the other, anche nel caso non si ritenga di avere la responsabilità e non si siano contestati danni apparenti. Even though there is no apparent damage, it is something that you must let your insurance cover know of any accident. Quindi, in caso di incidente, i conducenti coinvolti devono compilare e sottoscrivere l'apposito modulo contestazione amichevole. That's what, when there's an accident, that's why when you see some people, when there's an accident, they just stay in that position and they begin to discuss. It's not like what we have back home where once you hit somebody's car, both of them can come down and they will start fighting. No, it's not done here. What happens is that insurance, that's why even people in people back home, they now understand this. A whole lot of people understand it, and they, when they have their own car, they go for an insurance policy, so that when there's an incident, because there are things you cannot really, with the kind of society you have, is a very busy society. There are things you cannot, that are inevitable, irrespective of how, it is that's inevitable. That's why insurance company comes. That's where insurance company comes in. There are things that's inevitable. So because they are inevitable, we didn't plan for them, but because they're inevitable, they happen. So when they happen, the insurance company or the insurance company is there to, help. Now, when there's an incident like what we have said so far, what we've read so far, there's a form that is being filled by both parties. Every insurance policy holder has that form. Like I said before, I will see if I can get the old one we have here so that I can show. Then you will understand what I'm saying. Okay. Now you must fill that form. That form is called constatazione amichevole. Amichevole, denuncia di sinistro. You can call it denuncia di sinistro. It is in capitolo 21.3. Let's look for capitolo 21.3. If you have it here. I'm coming. I'm trying to see if I will see capitolo 21.3. Okay, now go to capitolo 21.3, 253. Page 253. Go to page 253. You see exactly what I'm talking about. Are you there?
253.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm here with it.
Okay. Now, you see that diagram there, that picture that is there. That is a perfect example of contestazione amichevole di incidente. Amichevole means friendship or friendly. It happens, but that does not mean that there should be any form of quarrel. It may be a friendly discussion, a friendly report, a friendly denuncia. You understand? It's not like they are quarreling with each other like some people do back home. When there's a scratch, like they come down, both people, two drivers, they come down and be fighting. No, insurance company have helped to stop all those things, all those behavior, all those rascally behavior. When there's an accident or when somebody bash somebody's car, what they do is they come down, talk as reasonable adults. You have insurance cover? Yes, I have. And you need to have. Okay, what do we do? Let's write our insurance cover. But first of all, let's cover this. Let's fill this form, which is this form that is in page 259. They fill it, both of them fill. Let's see what the form contains. Vehicle A, vehicle B. Why? Because why is it vehicle A, vehicle B? Incident happens or accident happens as a result of two vehicles or even more, but in this case two vehicles. Okay, now one is the one that is the cause of it. The other one is the one that incurred some losses. Okay, all the vehicle properties and all those things. I see the properties here. I'm trying to know the one that is at fault and the one that is not at fault. Okay. Now let's start from the first one. The first one is data incident, which is on the 19th. I'm trying to explain this one now. This diagram we have here, so that you will know how it is being filled. Se congiuntamente da due conducenti produce gli effetti di cui agli articoli 3 e 5 DL numero 857 del 1966 convertito. Talking about law here actually. Data, the day it happened, and the day is on the 19th of July 2003. The time of the incident, the time when it happened, 11 o'clock, or 11 a.m.
No, sorry, I don't have that one. The one you are reading, I can't find it in my own. It's 253.
259. It's page 259.
You said 253.
I did?
Yeah, that's what I read.
Then I made a mistake. It's 259.
Okay.
Sorry, it's 259, it's not 253. Capitolo 21.3 is the topic, but the place where there's this where there's that diagram, where you can find the diagram, is in page 259. Are you there now?
Yes, I think already. Yes, thank you.
So this is that contestation that we are talking about in what we are learning today. This is how it looks like. You understand? So the date is there, the time of the incident, the place, Via G Watt 37 Milano. Feriti. Feriti means injury. Any injured person? No, there's no injured person. Then danni materiali. No danni oggetti. No. Testimony. There's a witness. If there's a witness, there's no witness in this case. Vehicle A. The name of the person is Rossi Stefano. Codice Fiscale is there. Indirizzo of the person. The telephone of the person or mail. The type of vehicle, autovettura, which is just your normal motor car. The type of motor, Audi A4, the targa number, and the country of immatricolazione, which is Italia. Then the name of the insurance company, the number of insurance, the certificate of insurance, when it will expire, from when it was done, which is 19th of June 2003. Expired at the 19th of June 2004. There's only 1 year or 6 months you can do here. The place of the company, if there's any damage that is done to the vehicle, you understand, and all those things. So these are the things. These are the things that are embedded in this contestazione amichevole. Now the driver of the vehicle, that means the person that was driving the vehicle and the owner of the vehicle, they are not the same. You understand? Or the person that did the insurance cover, who actually is the owner, who may be the owner of the vehicle, it's not the same person with the driver. You understand? The driver is Verdi Stefano. Okay. Data di nascita, codice fiscale, and all those things. You understand? Then the next person that was involved in it, the accident, the person will write his name, Bertuccio, Alberto, and all those things. Kind of car, which is Fiat, the number of a policer, the number of the policer, the insurance number, and all those things. When the policer was done and when it will expire, the type of the company address. This one, the person that is the owner of this vehicle is the owner of is the one that drove, is the driver that day. You understand? So these are just it. These are the things you must feel. You understand? Plus all that things, when you feel those things, the kind of damages that was done in the vehicle. This one wrote his own damage, then this one wrote his own damage. All of them wrote their own damage, the damages that was done in their own vehicle, you know, and they signed. Here, there's a diagram. There's a small place where the thing happened. If it is, look at, there's also, they drew a road down. Are you seeing it? They drew a road down, four-way road where the accident happened. See where B vehicle was, see where A vehicle was, just, you know, just to illustrate to the insurance company how it happened. You know, so this is a perfect example of that denuncia di sinistro, or you can call it constatazione amichevole. You know, why I spend time here so that you will understand how it looks like in case you eventually go and do your own insurance cover, and after doing your insurance cover they give you this type of this, you will understand when you see one, because you have seen this one now. Now that you have seen this one, if you go and do your insurance cover for your vehicle, they will give you this thing, and when you see it you will know that yes, this is actually what I was talking about today. You understand? So we have been able to see that one. Denuncia di sinistro, which we saw in Vedi in capitolo 21.3, è inoltrarlo alla propria compagnia di assicurazione. Quale denuncia, which is comunicazione di sinistro. You must do this thing. After filling this thing, you send it to them, either by fax, by mail, or directly to them. You might take it there to them if your insurance company is not far from you. You know, just to communicate to them the situation that happened on that day that the accident took place. Sometimes it is not immediately, sometimes it can be later. You understand? But they will know that there's an incident. They will call the person that they destroyed, that they damaged his property or his vehicle, and they say, okay, we will value it. I will tell you how much we are going to spend for it. And all that. So that's how it is. Everything is organized. You understand? There's no cause for alarm. There's no cause for fighting. There's no cause for creating any kind of scene. You know, in this case, you get. Now, se tale modulo viene fermato da ambedue i conducenti, si accelera il risarcimento del danno, in quanto si presume che il sinistro, salvo prova contraria, si sia verificato nelle circostanze, con le modalità e con le conseguenze risultanti dal modulo stesso. Now, when the insurance company studies this modulo that you have filled, which is this constatazione amichevole, or you can call it denuncia di sinistro if you like, when they study it and they see that the two drivers that are involved have signed it, the two drivers that are involved fill this form, and they have their signature in it, it will fasten the process. It will help to fasten the process. You understand? It will help to fasten because their names are there. The first driver's name is there, the second driver's name is there. It will help to fasten it because the situation is real now. You understand? The situation is real, so it will help to fasten the process of, you know, replacement of the damage. You understand? Now, qualora si pensi di avere ragione o solo parziale responsabilità e si ritenga quindi di deve essere risarciti, occorre unire alla denuncia di sinistro anche una lettera di richiesta risarcimento. All right? When the insurance company have been able to understand this thing, you can also send a letter that they call, maybe they are delaying, maybe it has been filled with by only one person. You know, like I told you, if the two drivers involved in this fill this form and they send it to insurance company, it will be easier. You understand? But when only one driver fills the form, the driver has to attach to it one other letter which is called richiesta risarcimento. You understand? You must attach the other letter to it. Otherwise, it might take time to follow up such a case. Why? Because it is only one person that is requesting and they are not able to understand the full reason. That is why most times when there's an accident of just when you hit somewhere, they don't, they feel it is as a sort of carelessness of the driver. So if they come in, if they are even going to come in, it must be under duress. Sometimes it must be through a lawyer. You understand? Sometimes it can be through a lawyer. That is when they come in. Your lawyer sends that richiesta de what's it called? Richiesta de risarcimento, yes. Richiesta de risarcimento. Your lawyer needs to send it to them. I'm talking as a lot of experience. Your lawyer can send it to them because once it is, an accident that involves maybe the driver hits something, most times they feel it's a deliberate act, to raise, fund from the insurance company as a result of, continued, payment of insurance policy covers. You understand? So when they see that it is only one driver, they tend to delay the process. But you can use your lawyer to fasten the seatbelt of such an incident by asking your lawyer to say, once you discuss this issue with your lawyer can then send them this request at the settlement, and you see that this process will fasten up. A tale proposito è importante segnalare che dal 1 febbraio 2007 è attiva la procedura di risarcimento o indennizzo diretto. Now, from the year 2007, please, if this video goes off, you know how we do it, right? So, from the year 2007, 1st of February 2007, they have moved for a process, government have moved for a process of replacement of all those things. So, balance from this insurance company directly. You understand? Sometimes they can give you directly, sometimes they can put it, there's a way they do. They can either give you directly by going to your bank account, or they can, if it's something that have spoiled in your vehicle, if there's a damage, they can repair it for you. You understand? Formerly, they put all those things in order for you. But now, there's a law that says since 2007, 1st of February 2007, there's a law that gives them the order to balance any insurance cover. When there's an accident and they need to balance the driver that was involved in the accident, the government have, decreed a law that makes them give the money directly to the driver, and the driver will now know how to help, himself, maybe by repairing his car by himself. Now, il danneggiato rivolge la richiesta di risarcimento direttamente alla propria compagnia di assicurazione, just like I've explained, che è applicabile alle seguenti condizioni. But there are conditions for such process. L'incidente deve aver coinvolto soltanto 2 veicoli. Now, irrespective of the fact that they need to balance the money directly, or as a result of, the money they need to balance with the insurance company, the money they need to balance, irrespective of the fact they need to do it, it must be an accident that involves 2 vehicles. So, in the case of an accident of 1 vehicle, they, like I said before, they are slow when it comes to this, but they may not, they may not balance, or they may not return some amount of money to the driver if the accident has to do with only 1 vehicle. You understand? Because 1 vehicle, they presume that this driver did it purposely, so in order to get money from them, which may be right, which may also not be right, because you know what happens on the road. Sometimes somebody might be driving, carelessly, and your bid to, swerve your vehicle from the person might hit something, might hit, a road structure there that may damage the vehicle to an extent. You understand? So they might believe, they might not believe. So that is why they find it difficult to balance money to driver or for any accident when the accident does not involve 2 vehicles. All right. Now the next one is: i veicoli devono essere entrambi identificati e immatricolati in Italia. The second option, the second reason why such things happen is because the vehicle must be here in Italy. If the accident occurs, maybe the insurance cover is done in Italy, and the accident happens in Germany, sure. But if the insurance cover is not done in Italy, you understand? Like what they say, veicoli devono essere entrambi identificati e immatricolati in Italia. If the insurance cover is done in Italy, and there's an issue, there's an accident, fine, there will be a balance, they will return the balance, when there's a cover, they calculate and they balance the person directly. But if the vehicle is not, insured or, undergone revision here in Italy, and there's an accident in Italy here, it will not be subject to, you know, direct balancing. Come on, let me call my students because they are. Okay. Okay, you're welcome. Sorry for the break in transmission. You know how it goes this time. Now, if vi veicoli devono essere entrambi identificati e immatricolati in Italia, when these two vehicles are here in Italy and they undergo revision here in Italy, for instance, and also they undergo revision here in Italy, and they are identified here in Italy, and there's an incident, why not? There's a balance for them directly. But when they are not, they've not been, they've not undergone revision here in Italy, they're not identified here, there's no way you ask the company to, balance them directly. They must also, what the company does at that point is to check out the, the value of the, damage that has been done and then fix it. You understand? The next one is vi sono danni a veicolo e lesioni di lieve entità. We talked about this lieve entità al conducente, nonché eventuali danni alle cose trasportate di proprietà dell'assicurato o del conducente. Let's look for what this lieve entità is. I think I've seen it before, and I think I've forgotten what they are saying there. Okay, lieve entità. Okay, talking about minor, something that is minor. Okay, vi sono danni al veicolo e lesioni di lieve entità, minor injury on the part of the driver, and there's a damage. They don't balance, like I said, they don't balance directly. When there's a damage, serious damage on the vehicle, and there's an injury, minor injury on the driver, they don't balance directly. Now, that is why there are some people, when there's an incident and it's very, very serious, that is when they can only get, that is the only time they can get, some balance from, or some compensation, let me use that word, some compensation from insurance company. That's the only time they can get compensation from insurance company. Apart from the fact that there's an accident, that there's no serious injury, maybe small minor injury, there's no direct compensation. But when there's a serious injury, there's direct compensation. La richiesta di risarcimento diretto non deve obbligatoriamente essere corredata con fotografie dei veicoli che ha riportato danni. Now, when you want to request for this risarcimento diretto, this direct compensation, it is not necessary, or it is not obligatory to have a photograph to, snap the damage and then send. No, it's not necessary to do all those ones. You understand? As long as it falls within these 3 points that are here, definitely there's going to be a direct compensation. But when it does not fall within these 3 points that we mentioned here, there's definitely not going to be any form of direct compensation. Okay, so any questions so far with what we've been talking about?
For me, no.
Okay, there's no question. All right. Rafa, you don't have any question? I believe you are getting what we are discussing here.
No, sir, no question.
You said?
I said, no, sir, no question yet.
Okay, where are you getting it difficult? Where are you having difficulties?
No, I don't have a question now, but I'm just trying to understand the way you are going through of the now.
I'm in page 275. Are you there?
Yes, that is where I am.
Okay. So, where actually are you having issues of understanding? Where are you having issues to understand so that I can re-explain?
You know, I just, this is my first time now to come across this.
Okay. Well,
So that for me to understand it very well, I have to start by saying two things, which I
okay. All right. What will happen is, what you need to do is to pay attention. Pay attention, you know, pay attention very well. Yes, it's true that you were not in our previous lecture where we started the whole, topic, but if you pay attention to what we are discussing now in particular, forget about the previous topic. We are going to come to that maybe one-on-one. We're going to come to that within the week when I will be free and you are free. We can go into that. But for now, I'd like you to concentrate on what we are discussing as at now, at this point in time. Concentrate on what we're discussing at this point in time. It will help you. Even when by the time we revisit last week's topic, it will be clearer. But if you concentrate on what we are discussing now, by the time we visit next week, last week's topic, it will be more clearer to you. It will be more clear to you. You understand? What we are discussing here is risarcimento del danno. Risarcimento means compensation of damage. You understand? When there's an accident, as somebody, because every vehicle has insurance cover. My car, at least you've seen, you know that I drive. We've met several in Palma. Now, I'm not driving that car without insurance cover. That's what you must know. There is no car that drives in Italy that is without insurance cover. In fact, it is against the law to drive a car, not just a car, a motorbike, scooter, without insurance policy or without insurance cover. You understand? It is against the law. Why is it so? So that when there's an accident, the insurance company that covers your vehicle or the vehicle that is in question can compensate for whatever damages that were incurred as a result of the accident. You understand? Because nobody plans for accidents. No driver. But one time or the other, carelessness can result into it. You understand? And because it is not something that you plan for, you might not have the money to cater for it immediately. So that is where the insurance company comes in to cater for damages and compensations that are resulted in as a result of the accident. Then later on, for instance, let me use an example. Two vehicles are involved in accident, you understand, on the road. Now, one is at fault, the other one, that's what I've been explaining since we started today. One is at fault because when there's an accident, one person must be at fault. Two people cannot just be at fault at the same time. One person must be right and one person must be wrong. But the person that hits somebody from behind, the one that hit is wrong, because if you hit somebody from behind, the person that you hit is not the one that is at fault. Even if you hold brake, you that hit it is at fault. Why? Because you were too close. You did not respect the stanza de sicurezza. That is why that's where the stanza de sicurezza comes into play. You see why they taught us all these things before they came to talk about insurance, so that we will know them, know what to do, so that when we do insurance, we will respect those things that we have learned in the previous times or in recent times. So now when there's an accident, two people are involved in the accident, one person is at fault. The person that is at fault, what you have to do is to repair the other vehicle. The one that you damage his vehicle, you damage his property. But because accident is not something that you plan, you did not plan it while leaving your house in the morning, but it eventually happened. The insurance company, because your vehicle is under insurance cover, you understand? That your vehicle, the insurance company that is covering your vehicle as a result of the contract of insurance cover that you have, will now repair the other man's vehicle for them. When they repair the other man's vehicle for them on your behalf, because you are the one that's supposed to do it, but because you don't have the immediate money to do it, your insurance company, as a result of the cover you have with them, repairs the damage for you. Then next, when your insurance cover is expired, when you want to go and renew your insurance cover, that money they spent, they help you in repairing other people's vehicle, compensating them. You are the one that will now pay. But there's a way they will calculate it for you, you understand, and divide it for you. Then your insurance cover will now go up. For instance, your insurance cover is 500 per year, and you are involved in such an accident that you are the one that is at fault. Now, that insurance cover now help you to solve everything. When your insurance cover expires, your next insurance cover will no longer be 500. It might increase to, by the time they add everything, add the money they spent and everything, they might increase it for you to maybe 600, even 700 per year. Why? Because, and for that period of time, you're not supposed to leave them until you pay for all those things. You're not supposed to say, oh, I won't go change. No. You can't. The law does not. Any insurance company that you meet, by the time they look at your history, they'll say, no, remain there until you pay for your damages. You understand? So this is what insurance cover is talking about. Now we are talking about risarcimento del danno. There are some compensation that are direct, and there are some that are not direct. There are some compensation that insurance cover will give you. For instance, when there's an accident, there's some people that when they're involved in serious accident, serious one, the insurance that is covering those two vehicles or the vehicle that were involved in the accident that they were even injured will have to compensate them. I don't know if you've seen that. Somebody insurance pay. Maybe I'm trying to break this thing down so that you understand where I'm coming from. You understand? There are some people you will see insurance pay them 5,000, insurance pay them 10,000. That is what they call direct compensation. But you must meet the criteria of direct compensation, which I have listed. You must meet the criteria of direct compensation. Number one of those criteria is that it must be a serious injury. If it's a minor injury, there's no need for direct compensation. But if it's a very grave injury, then there's need for direct compensation, which happens later, not immediately, because insurance company, they are not, they do their calculations. They are not, there are other things that they are doing, so they'll do their calculation very well before they directly compensate the one that is involved in it. You understand? So when there's an incident, when there's an accident, there is between two vehicles, there is a form that they must fill. That form is what is called constatazione amichevole. It's a friendly, report between the two drivers that were involved in. And that is why in this country, there's no accident that you see and you see that they start throwing blow. No. Driver will come down and say, you bad my car, okay, we'll go here today. No, don't do all those things here. Rather, if you have seen any accident scene before, you see that they are very calm. Nobody is agitated. Why? There's an insurance cover. You understand? Nobody is bothered. It's not like where we are coming from, where there's an issue. Therefore, they will come down. If it's two drivers that are very very angry, they will begin to exchange blows. No, it's not happening here. So most of people that have lived here, that have gone back to our where we came from, they have this idea, and they are also trying to make use of this idea, and people are getting the idea. That is why there is less fight. If you discover, if you've been within the African within the African continent, and there's an incident, you discover that there's no much. They don't fight anymore like they used to do before. Why? Because knowledge is coming from those people that have lived in diaspora. You understand? So this is what I'm explaining. That form that both drivers will fill is what I told you people to go and see in page 259. If you go to page 259, you will see it there. You will see the form there. I believe you saw it when I said you should look for it. So that is it. This is what I'm explaining. What I've been explaining in a nutshell. Bonus malus is the kind of formula in insurance that makes your insurance policy to either go up when you have accidents or come down when there's an history of no accident at all. That's what they mean by bonus malus. If you are under an insurance cover and within the last 1 year there is no accident, the next insurance cover that you are supposed to do, your insurance money that you pay every year must come down to a level. But within 1 year, if there's an accident in your insurance cover, your insurance cover needs to go up. The next one that you're going to reach will go up. That's what they mean by bonus malus. You understand? So this is just a recap of what I've been explaining for some time now. Okay. Now let's go to concorso. I believe you are getting the point. Concorso di colpa. Un incidente si dice avvenuto in concorso di colpa se si verifica a causa di responsabilità concorrenti, cioè per colpa di entrambi o più automobilistici. Now, let's look for this word, because this word is very, very crucial. We look for it and find what it's talking about. Concorso de colpa. I believe a colpa mia, a colpa te, all those things. I want to look for what they are saying. Colpa means fault. So concurrence of fault, that's what it means in this case, concurrence of fault. Un incidente si dice avvenuto in concorso di colpa se si verifica a causa di responsabilità concorrenti. That is when there are more than one person. Cioè per colpa di entrambi o più automobilisti. Concorso di colpa is when there's an accident that involves more than one person, more than two people. And for instance, somebody hits somebody, the other one hits somebody. That's what they mean by concorso di colpa. Maybe there's a hold up. Somebody did not notice the hold up. He could not control the speed. He hit somebody for back. That one where they hit can go hit another person. That's another meaning of concurso de culpa. Okay, that's what they mean by concurso de culpa. Del resto, salvo prova contraria, il codice civile stabilisce la presunzione di concorso di colpa in mancanza di prove certe che indichino la responsabilità di uno solo dei congiunti. In this case, when it has to be checked, calculated, you understand? It has to be calculated. When there's an incident that involves more than two or more people, two or more vehicles, they have to invite what they call codice civile. You understand? Codice civile has to do with distanza di sicurezza. That is where distanza di sicurezza comes in, because there are several codice civile, but in this case, when somebody hits somebody and that person hits somebody, what they are going to look at, the codice civile they are going to look at in this case that I've just explained now, is distanza di sicurezza. So now, what is the distanza di sicurezza between this one and this one? What is the distanza di sicurezza between this one? Who did not obey that distanza di sicurezza? That person that did not obey the distanza di sicurezza is the person that is at fault. So that is how it is calculated. Concurso de culpa, an accident that involves 2 or 3 people or 2 or more people, you know, what they do is what the government do when they want to find out who is at fault. In this case, they will use codice civile to find out, and when they find out, the codice civile they will use in this case is distanza di sicurezza. You understand? So when there is distanza di sicurezza, the person that was not keeping the distanza di sicurezza is the one that is at fault. You understand? Because la responsabilidad de uno solo dei conducenti, one of the drivers, just one. You don't use 2, 1. So that one driver is one that's going to pay for all the damages. Quindi, ad esempio, si attraversa un incrocio di alta velocità e si coinvolti in un incidente, anche se si aveva la precedenza, non si può escludere, dato che non si è affrontato l'incrocio con prudenza, di essere considerati in concorso di colpa. Now, this is another example now. For instance, you want to enter a road that is a road with high speed, a road of high speed, for instance, autostrada. Now, it is your right, it might be your right for you to enter. But like what they said here, anche se aveva la precedenza, you have a precedenza to enter. You understand? But you did not enter con prudenza. Irrespective, I told you sometime, if you remember, that you want to enter somewhere does not mean, yes, you have prudenza, but does not mean that you have precedenza, but does not mean that you must not do it with prudenza. Precedenza and prudenza have to go together. So, irrespective of the fact that it is your right to use that lane, or you have precedenza, but if you did not enter that precedenza, or you do not use that precedenza with prudenza, then you are at fault. If you do not use that precedenza with prudenza and there's an accident, you are at fault. So we have gotten 2 examples now. So that's precedenza and prudenza that I've just mentioned is what is known to be this codice civile. So all those things that we've been learning since, most of them are codice civile that can help. You can see that when there's prudenza, when there's precedenza, you know what is precedenza. When there's precedenza, there must be prudenza. When there's precedenza and there's no prudenza, and there's an accident as a result of that issue, then you are at fault. They will cancel your precedenza and they will use prudenza to hold such a person responsible. You can see the codice civile that they brought into play here. You see? You understand? Irrespective that you are the one that have the precedenza, but you did not use prudenza, and there's an accident as a result of it, they will calculate, they will throw away that precedenza. and they'll make use of prudenza to attack the person or to make sure that the person or the driver that used precedenza without prudenza is at fault. You understand? So this scenario is what is called concussio de culpa. You understand? So is there any question so far?
No.
Okay. In that case, this is where we are going to call it a day for today. In the lecture of today, I believe you've been able to understand, how this insurance thing works.
I think so.
You think so? That means you are having little issues.
No, because I'm thinking that it's something that is difficult. That's why I think so.
I didn't get you. You said?
I said I'm thinking that something is difficult. That's why I say I think so.
No, it's not difficult. With proper explanation. It's not rocket science. It's just understanding. As I explain, you understand. As I explain, you understand. So it's not rocket science. Something you can lay your hands on at any point in time. If I explain it like this. So that's why most times I ask that if there's any question, quickly ask, so that we'll do a recap, can break it down so that you will understand better. Yeah, that's the reason why I usually ask if there's any question. So if I explain to an extent, if there's any question in that particular extent, to that particular extent, so that we'll know how we can go back to revisit it and then re-explain until it is well understood. You understand? So I believe that with what you have learned so far from last week, whenever you come across any insurance question, any question that has to do with insurance, because normally questions that has to do with insurance are not much. In every quiz, if there must be, it means no more than 2. So when you understand of what we've been learning since last week, whenever you see such questions, it will be easy for you to understand and then get them correctly.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Now, the questions you sent to me last week, I believe you understood my explanation of those questions.
Yeah, because there's one like that where you say it's the bed. I say it's the bed, but I still don't really know what.
Which one is that?
Maybe I have to resend it to you, but you don't.
Okay, that's what you do. You will resend it. You will resend it as soon as we log out from this lecture. You resend it, and then I will re-explain.
Okay.
Then if there are other questions you may have too, you can resend. How far are you doing with your quiz? Very important. How far are you doing with your quiz?
Not too bad.
Not too bad. Are you still at the same level, or you are improving? You told me the level you were before. So are you still at the same level, or you are still going higher now?
For this topic now, sometimes I do say 7, 8, and 6. But the one we have already teach before, those ones are that one maximum. The one we think is 3.
Okay, then how are you doing the quiz? Are you taking the quiz topic by topic, or you are doing the general quiz itself?
I don't have a regular one. Sometimes I do topic by topic. Sometimes I do the one that will give me all the questions.
Okay, there's no problem. What will happen is maybe one of these Saturdays if I have time, because these days I'm very, very choked up with activities. If I have time, one Saturday I will come over, we'll handle those quiz together, most especially these ones that are difficult for you. If it has to do with this insurance that we've been studying since last week, if these are the issues that you are encountering, we'll tackle it. anytime, very soon, anytime I have the opportunity to visit you.
All right.
There's no problem. So there's no problem. Just keep doing what you're doing. Don't forget that the quiz is what you need mostly for for success. Also keep tackling that quiz. With the little time you have, I know that it's not easy for you as a family woman, it's not easy for your children with a lot of their disturbances. But just keep at it. Keep at it.
All right. Okay.
Keep at it.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Mr. Raphael, I don't know how far you have been doing with your quiz because I've not been seeing any questions with you. So since I've not seen any of those questions, I believe you are now an expert in that quiz. Okay, so when have you decided to go and do the exam or to go and register the exam?
I think I have to learn more again. But I thought of that, but I said no. I need to learn more again because there are people that will come across the so I will get confused about that. So I need to learn more about maybe the rest of the exam.
Okay, well, what I'll still say is that you just keep at the quiz, keep doing the quiz, don't relent at your free time. You are even, for now, you are not being disturbed that much, so this is the time you are supposed to get it because, to be honest with you, when family issue begin to come, you discover that you may not be eligible for it anymore, or if you must be eligible for it, it must be a rigorous process. It will definitely be a rigorous process for you, but now that you are on your own, this is the time. The time I got my own, I was on my own, so it was very easy. It was very easy, and now I'm enjoying it because I don't need to. If I can be, even my wife now is driving, so it's easy. Life is easy. So now that you're on your own, is the time you need to do it. So keep at it and face it, as a priority. Face it as a priority. Be your first priority for now. Then when you get it, you will discover that every other thing can fall in place. You understand? So use this opportunity you have because this is an opportunity. Use it to get it. Okay. Continue with the quiz. If there are any questions, I've told you before. If there are any questions you have, send it. Send it so that I'll answer them for you, and you will be enlightened more. Okay. All right, we are going to call it a night for today. Thank you so much for your time. I look forward to seeing you same time again next week.
All right. Thank you too.
You're welcome. My regards to everyone.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, my people on YouTube, I want to use this opportunity to say thank you to all of you. Let me thank you all. Those that came victorious, Mirabel, thank you. I said your brother should have went up because of accident. Yes. Yeah. That's how it happens. So when you know this thing, when you are driving, you must be careful. Very, very careful. Sylvia, thank you so much. Esther family, you are doing well. Mr. Rock, you said my voice is too low. Very sorry about that. Just that my voice is low. Let me be honest with you. I'll buy a microphone. I'm not used to, shouting. Sorry about that. Maybe that's my nature. So I'll do well to get a microphone so that you will hear me more. Thank you for thank you for what you have, said so far. It shows that your interest is there. So I assure you, one of these days when I have chance, I'll get myself, those microphones they hang on the shirt and all those things so that you can hear my voice very well because I'm not used to shouting. I don't really know how to, that's how my voice is. It's how my voice is. So sorry, don't be offended. Esther family, thank you. The Collins and the rest, I want to say thank you all for your time. I really appreciate your time here. And please, if you've not subscribed, consider subscribing to this channel and then clicking on the notification bell so that when I come live like this, you'll be one of the first to be notified. And also share this video and my previous videos with your social media community so that they can have access to what you're having access to. Peradventure, you might not know, but you will eventually discover that you're helping somebody who is in dire need of this information that I'm dishing out on this channel. Okay, and leave your comments in the comment section. Maybe leave your comments in the comment section so that I can, because here it helps the channel to grow. So you leave your comments so that I can, thank you for leaving such comments. And then if you're interested in having a private tutor that has to do with your driving theory exams, or someone that can tutor you privately to the point that you become so good in the quiz that when you register for your exam, you come out in flying colors, contact me in the comment section by indicating your interest. Indicate your interest in looking for a personal tutor. Most of my students here have gone forward to do the exam and they passed. Some of them are doing well in their quiz. They've moved on to the next level and all that. So you can also be one of them. So don't ignore. Feel free. Let's see your interest. Let me see your interest. Indicate your interest in this comment section so that I will take it up from there. And like I said before, when we started, we have a book that helps you with Italian difficult phrases. Italian difficult phrases. We have a book that teaches you, helps you to understand these phrases and the English meaning. So the title of my book is Italian Patente Made Easy. It will help you with the difficult Italian words and terminologies. It will really help you so that, because it has been translated from in alphabetical order, A to Z, with the English meaning, to help you when you come across those difficult Italians, like a mini dictionary. So, I'll place the link on this video, and then you can download it all the way from Amazon.com, and also you have the option of ordering it directly from me by, dropping your interest in the book in the comment section, and I'll have it mailed to your doorstep. All right. So we are calling it, a day for today. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate what you've done. I really appreciate your time. It does not mean that you are not busy, but taking out part of your time to join this lecture to learn one thing or the other gives me, joy. I'm really elated by it. Thank you so much. So until next time, we'll see you on this video or on this channel. I want to wish you a pleasant week ahead. God bless you and stay safe. Bye-bye.